Today, I'm going to be talking to you guys about a cheat meal and what is a cheat meal. So first and foremost, my name is Alicia and I run a personal training company called Train It Right. I also coach track and field as well, so I work with a lot of athletes, not only in competing, but I also work in their nutrition as well. So I kind of all well-rounded. As you can see, I'm a Bachelor of Science in Kinesiology, so I'm a certified kin. I also have my Precision Nutrition Level 1, but on top of that, I also have my Camper Pro personal training certification, but I have a lot of other things like CrossFit and things like that. So I just left those up alive. But, what is a cheat meal? What do you guys think a cheat meal is? Anybody?
McDonald's.
McDonald's. That's a good example of sort of a cheat meal, but we're going to get into that. So a lot of people, when you think of a cheat meal, people think of chips, right? I'm cheating on my diet, I'm going to have something that's amazing, that's yummy, I'm going to reward myself, right? It's not always like that, but we'll get into it. Another, people think of cheat meals, Chinese. I'm going to eat Chinese, it's going to be great, it's going to be amazing, I'm going to gorge on all the things that I've been missing out on my diet, that I've been training so hard for. I deserve that as a reward. Some people even do pizza. That's fine. Pizza can be a cheat. There's a lot of things that can be a cheat and can't be a cheat depending on how you treat them. So that's what I'm going to get into today. Poutine, well, I had to put that one on there because that's one of my favorites. So I just threw that one on the side because I love poutine. So people usually use a cheat as a reward. I have worked so hard this entire week, this month, this year. I deserve a cheat, right? That's what you think. Like, I've done 10 workouts today at the Camper Pro trade show. I deserve to have chocolate. I deserve to eat all the cake in the world. That's going to be my cheat. Wine. I mean, who doesn't love a glass of wine, a beer, things like that? So we abuse the cheat. A lot of us. I've been known to abuse the cheat. I've done a workout and I'm like, oh my god, that was so hard. I can totally have a glass of wine. Well, it's a good thing and it can be a bad thing. And it just depends on your timing. So I'm going to get into that. So when you reward yourself with a cheat after, you've done a week of great workouts, you've done your cardio, you've done your strength training, you've done your HIIT, you've taken the proper rest day, and at the end you reward yourself by sitting down, eating a tub of ice cream on your couch and watching movies and eating chips. That's not the right cheat. That's not what you should be doing for your cheat. This is called hedonic compensation. So what this is we ruin all of our good work, and it's actually not benefiting you, and you can sabotage your weight loss. So that's sometimes where we work all the time, we work out really, really hard, and we're doing everything on paper, but we're not seeing it on the scale, or we're not seeing it in our measurements. So this is why it's important for you to time your cheat. So there's actually science behind cheating. It's not just, I've worked so hard and I can reward myself. So there's scientific evidence that a cheat can actually help you lose weight or achieve your goals. And so that's what I'm going to talk about next. So research shows that a cheat meal can actually help you with your goals. And it depends on what you're putting in that cheat, when you're having it, and what you're doing during the week as well. So to carry on with the science of the cheat, there's a protein. And it's actually found in your fat cells, and it's called leptin. It's found in other places as well, but it acts like a hormone in nature. Now, leptin is very, very, very important when we get into the cheat. So it circulates in your bloodstream, okay, and it regulates your appetite. So if there's leptin in, it's going to help you with your metabolism. So it acts as a suppressant. So that means that, okay, I've ate so much, and now I feel that I'm satisfied, I am full. So if there's lack of leptin in your system, you're not going to get that same satiety, or you're not going to feel full. You're going to want more. So when you diet, and by diet I don't mean crash diets, or I don't mean this and that. I mean you're eating well-rounded, healthy meals that are supporting your goals. So this can be included in, say, if you're training for a fitness competition, you eat 6 meals a day. Your meals are comprised of your macronutrients. So you have your proteins, you have your carbs, you have your fats. So you're eating properly. That's what I mean by dieting. So when you're dieting, you're also controlling your carbohydrates. And as Michelle Rouse, who talked before me, she talked about the timing of your carbs. So sometimes you're limiting those carbs. So if you're limiting those carbs, you're also decreasing your leptin. So that means it's not in your system. So by the time you worked out for the entire week, your leptin levels are lower. So when eating continues normal after you've had a cheat, you've increased the leptin. So that's how leptin works with your metabolism, and the cheat meal can actually be beneficial. It creates energy expenditure, so that's going to help you burn more fat. So, continuing on with the science of the cheat, the thyroid. Everyone's heard of the thyroid. Raise your hand if you heard of the thyroid. Yes, yes, we all know we have a thyroid. So, sometimes the thyroid is definitely very important here. So, what I'm talking about is it secretes hormones that regulate growth and the development and rate of metabolism. So, as you can see in the cycle here, the leptin receptors are activated when you have food, right? So this is why leptin is important, because it's going to increase your metabolic rate and it's going to stimulate the thyroid. That's going to result in increasing your metabolism. So that way you're burning more energy. You're burning more energy and you're going to get leaner. So the benefits of a cheat. So a cheat meal each week can be beneficial if you're a clean eater, if you're a competitor, if you're an athlete, or even if you're just a client, or for you yourself as a coach. So the cheat increases the leptin, like I just talked about, for a period of time. The body regulates the metabolism and the energy, is expended, and so that way you're burning the calories. So a cheat, a poorly designed cheat. So that's what I was talking about at the beginning. So if you're just out, I've worked really hard, I'm going to eat whatever I want. This is a poorly designed cheat. You haven't planned it. So if it's poorly designed, you're going to crave more. You're going to end up eating more at the end of the day if you're not planning properly. And everybody is different. There's a different time during the day that's going to be more beneficial than somebody, than me. For me, at night, if I have my cheat, I can go to bed satisfied. I can't have it earlier on in the day because I'm going to want to eat more and eat more and eat more and eat more because I can eat like a crazy person because I love food. So I can't do that. It's hard to wrap your head around like a cheat meal being positive, I know, and sometimes that's mentally tough for people. Say you have a client who's been dieting for an entire, 6 months. They've lost 30 pounds, and now they have this relationship with food where they're afraid of it. They're afraid that when they go and have whatever they want, that, they're going to fall off the wagon. They're going to gain weight. And that's the scariest thing for a lot of people. That's where the mental aspect comes in. You have to tell your clients or yourself or your athletes that it can actually help them. Try and explain the science to them about why it's important and why it's good for them and why it's going to help them achieve their goals. So it needs to be well designed. You want to plan it. Plan your cheat in advance. Don't just wing it. You want to make sure that when you plan your cheat in advance, that you know what day you're going to have it on. Write it in your schedule. Like, I like to do date night. Date night on a Saturday is great for a cheat. That way you get to spend time with your loved one or whoever, and you also get to then enjoy a meal. So you want to prepare it if you do it at home. Prepare your cheat in advance, okay? This way, there's going to be no binging. No binging because you've already planned and prepared. You're not going to go buy 10 tubs of ice cream because it's your cheat meal. So, if it's controlled, you're going to feel full and satisfied. You're not going to feel like you've overate. You're not going to be to the point of pain. You're not going to make yourself sick. You want to feel full and satisfied on the cheat that you've decided. And to execute this, you're going to eat clean. You're going to stick within your calories that your coach has given you with the calories that you know you eat if you track your macronutrients, or your portion sizes if you track by portion sizes. And you're going to achieve this because you're going to use a food diary. If you use a food diary, it's way easier to see where, your calories have expended, what you have left in the day. And that's because the same day that you have a cheat, you're not starving yourself before the cheat so you can eat so much. You're actually going to continue your normal meals throughout the day as if it wasn't a cheat day until you get to your cheat meal. You're going to eat the cheat meal and you're going to move on with yourself, and you're going to continue eating clean after that. So all cheats should be individualized. So what I'm talking about is what I consider as a cheat might not be what you consider as a cheat or what you consider as a cheat. You might enjoy steak or I might enjoy seafood. It doesn't matter what you have as long as there's protein there. So the healthier I eat, the less I crave bad foods. So sometimes, I don't even care if I'm having a steak versus if I'm having like a poutine. What your meal should look like. So again, I was talking about eating your regular meals throughout the day. You want to make sure that your regular meals are well-rounded, protein, whole grains, things like that I talked about before. Calculate your calorie count and serving size. You want to make sure that you know what you're doing. You want to plan it. This is where it comes into effect, where it's based on your goals. So if you're not out to lose weight, you're trying to gain weight, obviously your calorie count for your cheat meal can be a lot bigger. So a cheat is well balanced, but it's going to be higher in the calories and carbohydrates and protein. So all of those need to be included. That's why it's very easily to go off the rails when you want to cheat and you eat something that you shouldn't be. If you keep your cheat within these three things, but you're just increasing the calories, you're going to be fine. You're going to help increase the leptin levels that are going to help you achieve your goals. So an example of a cheat. 2 fajitas. You can have chicken, you can have beef. Inside you have the vegetables. You have the whole wheat wrap. You have whatever wrap you want. It could even be white. I know, foreign concept. It could be white bread. That's totally fine. Whatever bread you choose. You can have a burger with the bun. I know. Crazy, right? It's okay to have pizza, but you're not going to overindulge and binge in the pizza. You're going to keep your cheat to 2 slices, 3 slices. If you're a larger person, obviously you can have a higher calorie count or a larger size. But this is one of my other favorite cheats. What I love to have is like a big steak, a potato that I don't normally have because normally I'm having sweet potatoes all the time, and a side of greens. It's not a crazy cheat for some people. You're not having ice cream. But I live a little. Sometimes I have dessert and a glass of wine, but I don't get uncomfortably full. So when you cheat, depending on your goals, like I said, you can cheat up to 2 times a week. If you're expending over 750 kilocalories or calories in your workouts a day, there's no reason why you can't have a cheat to help your leptin levels get up higher, like I was talking about before. If you're over 15 to 20% body fat, that's where you should have less cheat meals, or you should plan less cheat meals, or the size of the cheat. So if you're over 15 to 20% body fat, you don't want to have like a crazy, ridiculous, like Kai green size pizza. You don't need that, and it's not going to help you achieve your goals if you're trying to lose weight. The body responds differently to a cheat depending on your fat percentages, or if you're lean, or if you're sedentary. So the sympathetic autonomic nervous system actually increases when someone who's lean has a cheat. When someone who's sedentary has the cheat, sometimes they don't have a response. So, at that point, if you're prescribing a cheat meal to your client, maybe they shouldn't be having a cheat meal yet. So you need to, again, make sure it's individualized specific. Carbohydrate storage. So if you're lean and you have a cheat, not only are you storing your carbohydrates, but you're going to be burning more fat. That's a bonus, right? So that makes the cheat good, right? You're going to be burning fat, so why can't you cheat? Exactly, you can. Where you're sedentary, the more likely it is when you have a cheat, you're going to store it, and you're going to burn more carbs versus keeping those for energy. NEAT. So NEAT stands for non-exercise thermogenic. So here you're going to increase, when you're lean, you're going to increase from overfeeding calories, burned, not stored. Again, good, we're burning calories, we're not storing them. That's what we want. If you're sedentary or you don't burn as many calories and you cheat, you're going to store those calories as fat. Don't want to do. So maybe it's not a good time for you to cheat. Insulin. So insulin, when you cheat and you're lean, it minimally affects the metabolized storage, which is great. Yes, that's what we want. So yes, you can have a cheat. But if you're sedentary, meals can shut down fat metabolization. We don't want that and lead to fat storage. And that's another thing that we definitely don't want to have. So, back to scheduling your cheats. Cheats need to fit, your current eating habits. I'm going to reiterate this. You should not be skipping meals before. You should not be skipping meals after your cheat. It's very important that you keep your meals the same and you continue on eating your normal meals after you cheat. Allow yourself to satisfy the cravings. It's not a bad thing. If you're craving something on one cheat meal and you're not craving something on another day, don't beat yourself up about it. Eat what you want and then move on. It's better for you. You're not going to store those things as fat. You're going to burn it off as energy. Now, this is also, you want to make sure that, you do what's good for you. Personally, for me, this is what I have up here. I like a date night. But if you like a night out with your friends, and your friends, you all go for dinner on a Friday night, or if you love brunch and you want to have a brunch, but continue on with your normal healthy eating patterns after you've had the cheat. So, some people do cheat days or refeeds. If you're a competitor, I know a lot of people who practice flexible dieting do refeed days. They don't do just the cheat. So these people are usually very, very lean. These people who can have a whole entire refeed day without affecting them, they're going to increase their leptin level. Those leptin levels are going to help burn fat. good thing. But again, if you're sedentary or if your body fat isn't low, you don't need to have those huge refeed days. And again, I cannot stress enough that it will not help you. Not until you're at a certain level. But we're human. So don't beat yourself up if you have a day like Christmas, your birthday, things like that. You can have a cheat day, but you need to go back to your regular eating pattern. So I always say, if you're going to have a cheat day, which you don't have to, don't feel like you have to, but it's a good rule of thumb to stick it to your birthdays. You want to stick to Thanksgiving, your Christmas or your religious holiday, whatever religion you are that's important, where a lot of family gets together, and one other holiday, or a family gathering, if your families do get together, things like that. My family doesn't, but like if you have like a big family reunion, sometimes those days are just completely hard to avoid, hard to plan for. You're traveling, sometimes that's a little bit harder, but if you don't want to, don't feel like you have to have an entire day, or just because it's Christmas you need to do this. You don't need to. So again, I'm Alicia Bell. Train it right, train it right, train it right, train it right is how you can find me. But before I finish my slides, what I want to do is I want to thank our presenters. So these are all of the presenters that are key presenters at Camp Pro Conference. And then I want to open up the floor to questions, because I know with cheat meals it leaves a lot of things open for people to get confused about, or curious about the types of things that they should have in their cheat. And I know some of you guys came in a little bit later in my slides, so you might have missed the beginning of the conversation, which I really went into talking about the hormone levels like leptin and thyroid and how they get involved with the cheat. So ask away if you guys have any questions. Yeah.
If you're prepping for a show, at what point should you stop having your cheat meals?
Okay. So he asked, at what point, if you're prepping for a show, should you have cheat meals? So this is kind of, again, back to the individually specific thing. So while it's great that it allows flexibility into your diet, if you're preparing for a show, I've done a few shows myself, it depends on the person. So if they're getting lean quicker, you should still allow them to have cheat meals up until a couple of weeks before the show. 2 weeks, I would say, max. Sometimes you get too lean too fast and you don't want to look like dried out or whatever on stage. So if they're still holding on to body fat, and you want them to increase the leptin levels, which again is going to help burn fat, then I would say totally let them have cheats and cheats and cheats. They can have cheats up until the week before the show, no problem. Sorry. Oh, pros competition. Yeah, so that's what he asked. But right after? Okay, so this is where a lot of things happen after the show. So he asked about carrying on after the show. So the best way, so what happens a lot of times is that competitors have dehydrated themselves, they've manipulated their diet and they've manipulated their carbs so much that post-show, sometimes they rebound really, really bad. So it depends on how your diet has been up to it, but if you've been flexible dieting, you have no problem going right back into your diet before, just falling right back into following the plan that you were following, whether it be macros or whatever. But if you've done a big cut, so you've cut out, you've manipulated your carbs really, really crazy, and then after the show, you want to make sure that you're having foods that don't have a lot of sodium, because if you do, you could screw up your sodium-potassium channels, and that's when your body's going to get bloated and right after a show. So it's really important to continue drinking water, to reintroduce your water, and to reintroduce your carbs slowly, at not a substantial amount. So that's when you finish a show and you see sometimes people having huge cheat meals right afterwards and eating everything they please. You don't want to do that. If you've done a huge deplete, no, you shouldn't do that. You should just reintroduce your food. After you've done that big deplete, slowly reintroduce your food, and then maybe a couple of days, 2 or 3 days, then have your cheat. That way your body is not going to get any problems coming off of the big depletion or anything like that. Yeah, exactly. You want to reverse diet off of it versus rewarding yourself, like I was talking about in the beginning. Just because, I've done a show, I'm finished, now I can stuff my face. If you've done the big deplete, probably not the best idea, because it's going to be really hard on your body. Yeah. I hope I answered your question. Does anybody else have any other questions? No? I know you have one. Come on, ask me a question. Okay.